Well, let us go back to events that have been unfolding in Egypt over the past 10 days, and particularly the violence that has flared up in the past 36 hours or so. We can speak now to Dr. Halla Diyab. She is an activist for women's rights in the Middle East, and she's in our Leicester studio now, and I'm very grateful to you. Thank you very much for coming in. What was striking at the start of this was the extent to which you didn't see any women in the screen. It seemed to be a revolution for men only. That has changed.
I think that I have noticed in the protest there were a lot of Egyptian women involved in the protest and in the streets of Egypt. And this is really a transitional era, not only from political point of view, but also regarding women's situation in the Middle East. Because women have been under niqab and hijab for long years in the name of religion and in the name of culture in the Middle East. And this is a time of a change where women have the right also to voice their own consideration and their own concerns about politics and oppression in the Middle East. I also noticed that
sorry to interrupt you. I just wanted to ask whether you, I don't know enough about Egyptian politics to answer this, but do women play a prominent role in Egyptian public life at the moment?
You know, before the protest, you can see a lot of Egyptian women in the workplace working, but at the same time, they are not in a very high position in the Egyptian politics. The same situation in the Middle East. So you don't have a lot of women who have an upper hand in Egyptian politics. But I think their involvement in the protest will change this situation because I believe that oppression is a vicious circle. In other words, if men are oppressed by the governor and the leader in the society, they also practice oppression over women. And when oppression starts to change and people start to voice their rights towards liberation and freedom, women also will change and try to get their freedom and liberation in the Middle East.
Yeah, I mean, do you worry that, for example, if it was largely the Muslim Brotherhood that took over in Egypt, then the role for women would be even more marginalised?
I mean, the worst thing will happen, the worst scenario that can happen to Egypt is that the Muslim Brotherhood take over the regime in Egypt, because this is not what we want. We want a free, democratic, liberated society where people can voice their own rights and they can practice religion on the basis of belief and faith. I mean, the main problem we have in the Middle East is mixing between politics and religion. And having a Muslim Brotherhood as to run the country, that's a big danger, because there will be mixing between religion and politics. So people will be controlled by religion, not by politics, not by democracy.
OK, Dr. Diyab, we must leave it there. I'm grateful to you. Thanks so much for taking the time to speak to us. Thank you.
You're welcome.